I'm talking today to Christian Ashaiku, who is the director of Amina, which is a film that will be released in the UK on the 17th of October at the Empire Leicester Square. Christian, what were the films you made before Amina?
Well, I've made two notable films. One is Fantasy, which was shot in Slovenia using Nigerian and Slovenian cast. My last film here in the UK, which was a British film as well, it's called Disordered Generation. And that is, again, I let a Jamaican play Nigerian in a film, so I always try to cut across. And now Amina, another British film.
And tell me the story of Amina.
Well, Amina is a story of a woman who is a psychological thriller which follows the difficult journey of a woman to self-discovery. That's how I like to put it. In the movie, you're going to see.
And she has a pregnancy, doesn't she? She has to kind of deal with.
Yeah, she dealt with a lot of things. So there are a lot of issues addressed in the film. Perhaps that's why the Department of Public Health in America has endorsed it, because it does address so many health issues, among which are teenage pregnancy.
Mental health.
One, of course, is the mental health, which is where the movie is set in a mental home. And we have the opportunity to shoot in a proper mental hospital, which is the St. Anne's here in Harringay. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. It's an opportunity.
And the film is unusual, isn't it? Because it has British stars and a Ghanaian star and a Nigerian star. How did you bring together this constellation?
Well, like I said, that's the future for African cinema, really. The world is now a global village, and from my point of view, not as a director but as a producer, I have to make some certain decisions. Nollywood is growing, and it's growing fast. I'm here in the UK, there's some opportunities, and I know Ghana is coming up as well. So as a businessman looking towards film, I had to think about what am I going to do. When you think about the market, you make some decisions. But that aside, it has to work as well on the screen, and that works for me. I personally pick Omotola because I've seen her in some films.
She is the Nigerian actress,
She's
isn't
a Nigerian one, and she's quite good, and you'll see her in the film. She bring the character to life.
And who is the Ghanaian actor?
Vicker. Vicker is the Ghanaian who plays the boyfriend in the film. I think they've done it before many times in Hollywood. But this time it's a different project, which is, I would call it a little bit more advanced, where they have to raise their game because the Chinese were high.
And Vicker is in a TV series in Ghana, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always he's done a lot. Yeah, he's done a lot in Nigeria as well. So it would be wrong to say. I don't know whether they like him more in Nigeria or in Ghana.
Okay,
so it's that kind of.
So he has travelled across both those.
He's travelled a lot. Yeah.
And Omotola has been in The Ties That Bind, wasn't she?
Exactly. And
what other famous Nollywood films?
Well, I think I like Omotola in a film called EJ. Yeah. There was a reaction she gave in that movie, and that gave her this role. Yeah. I was looking for a deep actress, because it's a story that's coming from inside. And
somebody who could portray emotional turmoil.
Emotional turmoil, thank you very much. So that was what I was looking for, and she was the right cast, and I didn't regret it. No regret at all.
And the film is being opened here first. Yeah. And how many cinemas will it be shown in?
It's going to be more than 20-something cinemas, but we're starting with the premiere on the 17th. Yeah. And after the release will be sometime at the end of, or the first week of December. Yeah. But then it still coincide with the premiere in Nigeria, which is going to be in December, around 14th. Which is the plan at the moment. Okay. And then Ghana afterwards.
So you'll be showing through, presumably, Silverbird Cinemas in Nigeria, and then onwards into Ghana.
And hopefully in the US as well.
Yeah. Okay, and what's the next film you've got planned?
Well, the good thing is Amina, as you said, is a new breed of filmmaking. Got some British producers here who now say, oh, Christian, I like your idea, We've got some stories that could work between UK and Nigeria. So they've put up some really interesting story. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be in March next year. They put forward a very interesting project where they're going to have a lot of top American actors, some British one, and then some Nigerian actors. And the good thing is it's going to be shot 50-50. 50 will be here in the UK, 50 will be shot in Nigeria. And that is specifically targeted for the world market.
And how do you make the different styles of acting work? Because the director of Tango With Me had a release here recently, and on Radio 4 people were sort of not able to get on with, British people not able to get on with the kind of Nigerian style of acting, that quite sort of declamatory style of acting. How do all those different styles of acting work?
Well, I don't know whether it's different style of acting. I think it's different style of storytelling, you know. And
that's true as well.
We're taught here that character-driven stories. But don't forget, African cinema is a little bit different. We use cinema to address issues. That's what we do. And for me, I try to combine both in my work. And I think it will work for the British audience as well, because I follow the story of a woman.
Yes.
And it's a cycle. So it's our story. But in the process, a lot of issues will be addressed. And the acting were not different because, like I said, it's about the plot.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time where the lead actress, unlike what she normally do, had a chance to sit and talk. Just too much. It was really, really, really difficult for her.
Yeah.
To play the part, but she pulled it very well.
And how do you find it possible to do a co-production with so many different cultural elements and get it to appear to be located somewhere and have an integrity?
Yeah, it was a challenge, and as you know, the culture of cinema is different, and the incentives are quite different as well. And that's what I keep preaching for them in Africa, that it's time to raise the level of cinema there. And so the government is not aware of what it means, and there's no bilateral treaty between Nigeria and the UK.
No co-production treaty.
Co-production treaty. And when you have that, you have a lot of... So you're not looking to any benefit, and you know what it is in the UK. It's quite a challenge to do a film without that. But I see it as a future because Nollywood, you don't need co-production treaty to survive. They have a market. And Omotola, I can tell you, have an amazing fan base. And I want to tap on that. And in terms of acting ability, there's no real difference. You may have sometimes some language issue, of course. I speak Nigerian English, you expect a British born to speak a different English. That's understandable. But it won't take anything from the story as long as the story is the plots are quite, that.
It's powerful.
Yeah. That's what I try to do. Acting is about, for me, as a director, acting is about what you do, not what you say. So I wanted the picture to tell the story, more than saying.
The words themselves, yeah.
I remember doing my master's, and my dissertation was challenging heavy dialogue approach to films. I am the kind of director that would love to use picture to tell the story rather than talking. But it don't always work anyway. But that's something I wish to do someday. Yeah.
And what was the budget for the film?
Budget was original budget was
£250,000.
But then when you start to make things goes up and down. But that was
approximately. And how was the money raised?
Well, the good thing is, see, this is the issue.
Yeah.
I had to cry on family back in Africa. I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. And you begin to put one or two together. So it's really, really private finance.
Yeah, family and friends.
Family and friends from now, yeah. And I'm happy to come from a place in Africa where you can still
achieve that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Christian, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.